Hello, 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 everyone. It's Jen with Roxy Bonds Creates, and it's time for demo time. So if you don't see live up here in the corner, you're watching a replay. And when you pop on, please say hello so I know who's here. Today, we are going to be looking at the Changing Leaves bundle. So excited about this one. I absolutely love this bundle. It is currently not available, but you can find it still on my website and you can add it to your wish list. And when it becomes available, which should be in the next week or two, you can add to cart. This bundle includes the stamp set, which I'm showing you right now. It is an clear acrylic photopolymer stamp set. And it has a die that goes with it. So here's our stamp set. It's kind of a mess right now. And then it has a die. So it has these pieces here. So it has some leaves, it has some little twigs, has some solid leaves, a couple of little frame pieces for some sentiments that are kind of stitched. And then it has this big giant die right here. And this one is really cool because it goes with the rest of the bundle. So it has the dies, it has the stamp set. So these are the stamped images here. And you saw them on the front. And then it has the embossing folder. Now this embossing folder is a hybrid embossing folder. So what that means is that it not only embosses, but it die cuts at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some really cool things with that. But before I dive into that, I wanted to show you this layout right here. That is posted in the group today under layout inspiration it is one of your challenges, but I just wanted to kind of go over it a little bit and talk you through, what I did here. I created this layout, I don't know, a couple weeks ago maybe. And I pulled in, first of all, I started with my photos, and this is my son and his date to her formal. He took her to his formal, and then she turned around and took him to her formal. But this layout, I started with the photos and I started with the color of her dress, the green, and I loved it. And then I wanted to play off of like the backgrounds here with the greens, a little bit of like the tans, but then it just had this little like pop of pink color in there and some of the flowers behind some of the photos. And so there's some like back here too, like in the foliage. And so I wanted to play off of that. And so what I did is I pulled in this paper here. This is from Seasons of Elegance. And the papers, there's like 4 different colors. This like beige color with gold. There's red with gold. I think there's 2 different greens with gold. And then there's the peacock color with gold. So it has all this gold foiling in it. And I know like it feels very busy, like when it plays off of like the foiling, but when it's not, like I promise you, if the light's not hitting it, it's not that like crazy. But then I pulled in some more greens and like this soft, this is actually like the petal pink or peach or something like that color to kind of go with the flowers there. So I wanted to pull in that color too. These 2 patterns here are from Nests of Winter. Nests of Winter. Ooh, I think that's the name of the paper pack, DSP, but that's what I was going with. And then I pulled in the Seasons of Greenery die cuts, golden greenery die cuts, and it has the leaves. I cut them in gold and this peach color, and then there's some other like the dark green leaf there. And then I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a couple of little pieces here that are cut out of vellum. And the die cuts that go with the golden greenery cut the vellum as well. And then I did like cut and stamp one of those pieces as well. I used 2-tone cardstock. So this is Close to My Heart cardstock actually in Evergreen, I believe. And I did dark side for the background and then the light side on this bracket piece that went underneath here. And then just kind of pulled the layout design across. So I used a sketch from an old Close to My Heart book, Make It From Your Heart, and just pulled that together. So I kind of wanted to just talk through that. I also added these like gold gems. I forgot what they're called, but they're part of the Seasons of Green and Gold. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just gold gems. I'm not really sure. There's so much, you guys. There's so much stuff that like I can't keep straight what everything's called. And what it goes with, let alone like the colors or anything. So just bear with me. I know you guys get it. Because even if I knew it, you probably wouldn't know it either. But here's again that clustering of the leaves and the die cut. So we've got the green leaves, these little heart-shaped ones, and then the stamped one, and the vellum back here. So the vellum's really cool. It cuts with these dies, cuts the vellum paper too. So super cool. Love this layout. So I just wanted to kind of talk you through it. Now let's look at the Changing Leaves bundle. Okay. So first, let me show you a couple of cards that I made. This one here, I used the stamp set to stamp the giant leaf. Okay. And what I did is I inked it up in Glacier, the lighter color, and then I used a sponge to add the Sapphire, which is the darker color. It just kind of in the middle. I didn't really intend for it to just kind of be like really a circle in the middle, but that's kind of how it turned out like once it was stamped. But stamped it twice and then added, these are the die cuts that come with it, and added like the little sentiment there, and super cute, pretty easy card. And then this one is quite a wowie card, but really super simple. So this is a piece of, I think it's like copper metallic paper. Isn't that gorgeous? And all I did was run it through the embossing folder, which is here. So this embossing folder happens to be like a 6x6. So ran it through the embossing folder, probably in this direction, and then cut it down to card front size. This is from the die cut. So cut in, that's probably almond color. And then dark side, light side, and then some more die cuts just to add the little sentiment there. Pretty simple, not a lot of steps there, but it's a total wowie because of that. Number one, because of the embossed look, but number two, because of the embossed, the metallic paper. Super, super cool. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to play with this. I actually have my embossing machine right here. And I want to show you just some things that that you can do with the hybrid system, okay? So first of all, this here is, excuse me, Cajun Craze cardstock. This is Stampin' Up's two-toned. So now we have, oh, this is the dark side, and I actually embossed the light side. So it's the two-tone cardstock. And I actually put a full 6x12 sheet in there. So I embossed like this side first. Okay, so I embossed this side, then I turned it around and stuck it back in and ran it through a second time. So you can, if you're really looking closely, see kind of like that overlap right there where the joint of the embossing folder is. But when you cut it and you put it, because I put it in little strips on a layout that I did, when you do that, you cannot really tell at all. So this is just cardstock embossed. I could take this, it actually, you can see the white core coming through a little bit just by nature of, you know, the cardstock just kind of, I guess, not ripping, but like, you know, the fibers kind of tearing apart is basically what happens. And so you can see a little bit of the white core like kind of popping through there, but I can take a file, like a nail file or emery board or sandpaper, and I could sand off and expose the white core even more, which would look really super cool. Okay, so that's one thing I did. And then I wanted to show you, oh, my pieces are under there. This gem right here is what we're gonna work with, but what I did is I made two of these. So I just took ink, I used Sundance, Mossy Meadow, and Cajun Craze. And you can see that I am mixing a matching brand at this point in the game. I am starting to get rid of a lot of my Close to My Heart inks and starting to accumulate some more Stampin' Up inks. And there is a difference between the two, and that, you know, maybe we can talk about a little bit as we stamp, but there is a difference between the two, and that's like, I could do a whole nother video on that. But anyway, I'm starting to kind of, you know, switch over. So that's why I have the two different kinds here. But I just took my blending brushes and made like a piece of paper, okay, in the multicolors. Then I stuck the piece of paper in the embossing folders. I'm not going to do that because I've already done it. But I stuck it in there, and then I also die cut it. So let me show you the finished result. The die cut is going to cut 3 leaves. Okay, so I love the way they look, different colored, and you cannot tell that it started like this and ended like this. It's just very organic. It's super, super cool, right? So this is what the end result was. And how I did that was I put the paper in and then I took the die cut, and the die cut actually kind of fits right into place. So you just kind of like get it in there, and then once you get it where you want it to be, it like literally kind of sticks in place. Okay, so I took the paper, put it on top because I didn't want that die cut to move. I closed it and I ran it through, and this is what I got. Okay, super cool. All right, we're not going to do that with this next piece. What I want to do with this one is I want to stamp this one with the leaves, which are in the stamp set. Okay, and then I want to run it through and cut them out. So not emboss, but just cut them. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with this one. But before I do that, what happens is you end up with a 6x6 sheet, right? And you have all these other, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, these die cut out, but all these other pieces are still embossed. So what I did with that is I kind of cut them out. Okay, so that's embossed. That's embossed. And then what I did is I took the espresso ink pad and rubbed it over the top, and then I cut them out. So this one I cut out, this one I need to cut out, but I was going to show you that you can do that here. So if I have just this little piece, it's, I don't know if you can tell that it's, yeah, you can see the embossing there. Okay, just on the green part, there's the leaf. So if I take my ink pad and I just kind of rub it over the top, I'm adding ink on the embossed piece, and then I can cut out and use, it's a partial leaf, but I could still use that, right? This one is a full leaf that was cut out. This one is a partial leaf. I can still use that. And then this one is a double leaf, so I can do the same thing. I can just take the ink pad and run it right on top of the embossed image. And all this ink here, that's gonna cut off, okay? But then I could cut that out and I could use that on something. How cool is that? Okay, so that's something that you can do with the extra pieces. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to stamp those 3 leaves. And what I wanna do is be able to die cut them out, okay? So what I kind of came up with, and I don't know if this is the perfect way, but I'm gonna put the stamp right on the embossing folder, like this. Right where it would be. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of like lay them on there like so. I'm using this as a guide, okay? And the guide is hopefully, what my intention is that it's in the exact spot. Now, it might not be perfect, okay? It might not be perfect, but hopefully it's in the exact spot so that, because these are all connected, right? So now when I die cut it, hopefully it will die cut out perfectly, okay? The 3 things without, you know, any issues. So we'll see. So I thought I would line it up on here, and then I'm gonna take my block, which is right here. And this block is ginormous, and somehow it's not big enough. So I'm gonna have a little bit of like leaf kind of hanging off. All right, so I'm gonna take the block, I'm gonna pick up the stamp, so now they're on there, and you can see this one's hanging off, but we'll ink that up. And it might not matter, we'll see. But we're gonna take this and let me, I've never used this stamp, so let me season it a little bit. I hope you guys are enjoying the challenges today and you're getting a lot done. I actually got a lot done today. I left my house and went to a crop so that I could get some things done. Because, and I was, like, there's nobody at my house right now. But if I was home, I would be distracted by all the things, right? TV and the computer and, I don't know, like everything distracts. You know, maybe I have to do dishes or maybe I need to do something else. But I didn't want any distractions, so I left the house and I went to a crop. All right, so I'm inking this up in espresso ink. And I gotta make sure I get the little tail of this leaf here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stamp right on this piece here, and then I'm gonna die cut it. So we're just gonna stamp it. Push that down really good. I gotta push this little piece down. Push it down. I'm moving the paper, not the stamp. Just trying to get like a good impression there. Voila. Okay. So now I have my leaves stamped, and I probably could have like moved it to see like where and how I wanted the colors to be, but it doesn't really matter to me. And now I'm going to put this die cut like so. Try to line it up so that it might not be perfect, but it's gonna be pretty darn close. I think this one's off a little bit. Okay, it's pretty darn close. I wish I had some washi tape that would help me hold it in place, but alas, I do not. So let me get it sandwiched in my embossing machine. Move some stuff out of the way. Probably should do this up here. I'm gonna have to reposition it a little bit. So let's just get it in the machine. Okay, so this is my Stampin' Up! Machine, which I love. Okay, let's kind of, I don't have any washi tape with me. So this one I can already tell is not gonna cut perfect. However, the leaves are probably gonna be okay. It's just gonna be that stem that's off. So it's all right. Just stick that on top, and I'm gonna kind of hold it as I roll it through so that it doesn't move. Okay, so let's check this out. So now, ooh, look at it, did it. I love it. Okay, so now we have inked, stamped, and cut. So that's the second thing you can do. So the difference between these guys, these are inked, stamped, and these were just inked and embossed. Okay, and then these are inked, embossed with ink on top. Okay, so cool, right? Now I could take this extra piece, and I probably could have done it like as it ran through, but I could take some of these other leaves and cut some of those out of these colors as well. So I'm gonna hold on to this piece because I may wanna do something with that later. Or I may want to, you know, cut out like just a little piece here, like one of those to, you know, like stamp a little sentiment or something. So I'm gonna hold on to this piece because that's valuable real estate right there that I worked really hard to ink up, right? And look at this, you've got all this like orangey yellow over here, all this green over here that's not even touched. So super cool, lots of things. All right, so this is what I have to work with here. And then the last thing, and you could probably see I'm sitting here, is I pre-die cut some of these leaves in gold. Okay, some of these, I have to poke out some of those little things. And then I die cut some of these little twig things in the Cajun Craze, which, if you were wondering, is very, very close. In fact, I think it's almost right spot on to Close to My Heart's Paprika. So if you're trying to like color match, that's what I would say is Cajun Craze is pretty close to Paprika. Okay, so these are all the bits and pieces I have to work with. And what I'm doing with them is I made this layout today using the Autumn Memories papers, and I'm going to do the embellishing here. So those pieces are going to go in these little circles here, okay? And you can see that I used some of that embossed cardstock here. And then this is, these 1, 2, and 3 are the same 3 colors. I just did a watercolor effect on watercolor paper. And then I cut like kind of a half circle here and then cut circles here. So that's how that came about. But these pieces are going to kind of, hopefully it'll look all right. This actually might look better. Like if I did something like that mixed with like this, and where's those other guys? This and this, and then did a little bit of twine, maybe added like one of these. So maybe the color, maybe these colors on top of this watercolor was not the best idea. I might actually go back and maybe just do like more of a solid or more like of the browns and greens. I don't know. See, this is why we play, right? So that we can kind of figure it out and see like what we like best. I initially thought it would be something like this, but this is very tone on tone. So maybe I could swap this out with like brown circles. That might actually be better for me, or even green. And then I could use this. So just, that was my whole idea there, but that's what I am working with here. And those are all of the things that you can do with the embossing folder and the hybrid embossing folder, the bundle, right? So you've got stamp, you've got dies, standalone dies, dies that cut the stamped images. You've got the embossing folder that will just emboss cardstock, so just embossing. Then you can emboss and die cut. Like, the possibilities are endless. This is such a cool set. So again, it's called Changing Leaves. This is the embossing folder. And let me find the stamp set cover. And there's the stamp set. So some of the sentiments on there are, you are amazing in every single way. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Here for you. And a little note to brighten your day. And then these die pieces, like, I think that this would be like kind of a cool die to just, or even this little guy, to just put like the date, you know, or and have it stick like up in front of the photo, right? Or even on this side, I think. Maybe right here. Instead of having like a tab or a tag behind there, I could just put this little piece right there and it be like a date spot for you to write like the date. So super cool bundle, and lots of things you could do with it. So I want to thank you for joining me. I hope I taught you a little bit. I hope you learned something and you are inspired to play with this bundle or take a look at it and add it to cart once it's available. Just as a kind of a side note, there's one other bundle that is similar to this, or the same idea as this, and that one's called Seaside Wishes. So if you like this idea, the Seaside Wishes bundle is available. It's like, you know, kind of beachy themed, and it's got sand dollars and little I don't know, like seagrass coral kind of cutouts and starfish and things like that. And it's got a really cool stamp set as well. That one is available, and I have done a video on it. So if you go into the group and you just search Seaside Wishes, you should be able to find the video that I did. In fact, I think it was at the last virtual crop on this, the Seaside Wishes bundle, which is the same thing. It's the stamp set, embossing folder, and the hybrid, which is the embossing folder that cuts out. So there you go. Couple different ones. I love this whole idea. To me, this is kind of a pricey bundle. I'm pretty sure it's $54 for the stamp, die cut, and embossing folder, which I think is kind of a high price. However, when you see all the things that you can do with it, I think it's very, very worth its value. So don't let that deter you, because you can emboss, you can stamp, you can die cut, you can do all of the above. So it's just got so much that you can do with it. So don't discount it, discount it. Don't count it out, but that bundle price is actually discounted. So there you have that too. All right, thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye.